Hi, welcome to Luxury in Moderation, where we appreciate the finer things in life without going overboard. So today I thought we would do a super casual video. I'm just sitting on the ground here because I wanted to show you guys how I store and care for my bags in real life. So these are where my bags live behind me, and I know it looks really messy, but I'm going to take you through like the setup that I have and the pros and cons of my decisions to hopefully help you make the best decision on how to store your luxury bags. Before we get started, my name's Joanne, and every week I upload videos about luxury handbags and other luxury lifestyle products. So if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like this video and subscribe below so you don't miss my next video. So the first point I wanted to make is that there's always a trade-off between convenience and protecting your bag. So let's take my first bag here for an example. This is my Chanel Jumbo. And as you can see, I do store it in its dust bag. So this bag actually came in this box. So this is the Chanel box that I use kind of as like a shelf where the bag sits on top of. And then I use a lot of the original packaging that came with this bag to store it. So first of all, you can see that I let the chains just hang on the back here. But because this bag is a very light color, it's like a very, very light cream, and the chains are so long that they hang to like touch whatever it's sitting on. I do make sure that the chains, when it's resting on the box, is actually resting on this random piece of white tissue paper so that it kind of cups the chains like that. So this is how it sits right there on the box, and I'm especially careful of that because the box is black and I don't want there to be any color transfer. Now I have no idea if Chanel black boxes do color transfer over time, but just to be safe, it's very possible. So that would be my second tip, which is to protect any surfaces that could be touching a different color. So, you know, whether it's a white tissue paper or bubble wrap, which I'll show you in a second that I use on my other bag. It's always a good idea to, you know, just make sure that whatever your leather is touching is not going to change the color of it. All right, getting back to the storage of the Jumbo. First, this is the dust bag that the bag comes with. And then this is also the buffing mitt that the bag comes with. So I just tuck this buffing mitt inside of the Mona Lisa pocket in the back there, because I've heard that it's best if the leather of the pocket does not just like touch the leather of the back of the bag, because it can stick over time. If you live in a really humid place, the leather can stick together, and then when you go to use it and pull it apart, it can harm the leather. So that's why I just tuck this right in there. So that's why it's a little curved, but it's not a problem. All right, now pulling the bag out of the dust bag, then you can see I have felt right here. And again, this white piece of felt came with the bag. And lifting up the flap, you see the second piece of white felt that, yes, again, came with the bag. So I kept both of these packaging pieces and reused them as storage. So again, I did not want the leather of the flap to touch the leather of the inside flap. And also it does protect the zipper from denting the leather here. So again, pulling this out, you can see that the edges of this felt are actually tapered. So you can stuff it right between the two flaps. And then pulling this off. And then inside is stuffed with the, again, original tissue paper that came with the bag. I think there was actually two. There we go. The second piece. So basically, these two pieces fit inside the Jumbo, and that is how I store it, just to give it a little bit of help as the bag sits there. So there you can see, now that I've finally pulled off everything, this is a bag that I can actually use. Now I do think it's a little bit tedious for all of the steps that I just did in order to use the bag which is why I do think that I don't use my Chanel classic flaps as much, because it's not really a grab and go bag for me. I have to take at least a couple minutes to take out all of its packaging, and then I have to actually put my wallet inside, my keys inside, you know, whatever I want to bring that day, and then I'm out the door. So there is a trade-off between how quickly I can just grab the bag and use it versus what I think I'm doing to protect the bag when it's not being in use. So now I do have to put all these things back before I set it back in storage. So now that we're done with that bag, let's go to my Chanel classic flap medium size. So this navy bag is the bag that I just finished using today. I stored it in the exact same way. I had to take out all the packaging, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm ready to put it back in storage. Now, the very first thing I like to do is to make sure there's not any scratches or dirt marks. And, you know, the navy being so dark, it just, you know, looks fine. Don't have to worry about color transfer as much. Definitely want to check the bottom to make sure you didn't miss anything. Now, the third tip I have is to use a leather cleaner if you do find any marks, color transfer, or anything. So the one that I use is this Cole Haan one. So there you go. It says Cole Haan leather conditioner and cleaner, cleans, preserves, and beautifies fine leathers. Now, this I'm sure was sold for Cole Haan leather shoes and not specifically for Chanel or luxury handbags, but I've been using this for years and my bags look great. They react fine to it. You know, it doesn't harm the leather. So I'll definitely continue to use this product. And what I do is basically I get a clean white cloth. This one is, as you can see, horribly dirty here, but I try to stay away from that portion. So I just find a nice little clean white portion of a microfiber cloth. You can buy them at like the Container Store or a lot of different places. This one is actually from Kenneth Cole. So again, this was made for leather shoes. And I just squeeze a little bit of this gel. So it just squeezes out like that. So again, just a little bit is fine. And then let's say, you know, even though this bag, there's no color transfer, but I feel like, you know, maybe I haven't conditioned it in a while, it looks a little bit dry, I can just go ahead and buff the leather where I think it needs some TLC. So I have definitely used this Cole Haan leather conditioner on my Chanel Jumbo, on my Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis when there was color transfer from my jeans. And I just did exactly these steps, which is put a little bit of the conditioner on the white cloth and just rub, 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 and it came right off. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the exact same process of preparing this bag for storage. So I'm gonna take my wallet out of it. Nothing in there, looks good. All right, so this is the tissue paper that came with the bag, again, when I bought it. So I'm gonna, again, just tuck that in there to give it some cushion inside. And then this bag actually came with a black felt. So again, gonna lay that where it came on the front. Second piece of felt for between the double flaps. And you also wanna make sure the zipper lays flat. Now, I do think I was storing this bag incorrectly for several years, and this is what I was doing, so don't do this. I was pulling the chains through to the side, so you can see on the top it's like pretty tight, and I was letting the chains hang to one side. So again, I do know that I didn't want the chains to be pressing up against the top, so I would protect it by, again, using this piece of Chanel tissue that came with the bag. So basically how the bag came was they had tied up the chains in this strip of tissue paper, and they taped it up like that. So what I was doing was I would pull it like this, so again the chains aren't touching the top of the leather, and then I would just place the chains on the back, cushioned by some bubble wrap, so again it's not touching my black table, which could color transfer or something. So, and this is how I was storing it, just like this, inside the dust bag. But I do think that was hurting the bag because I felt like my bag was starting to just lean more and more forward, and it would like sit on a table like that, and it wasn't properly like balanced, like flat. So I have started to not store my chains like that anymore. I just feel like for some reason it was causing my bag to be off balance, even though that's how the Chanel boutique was storing the bags, which is how I got the idea. So I am going to just do what I am doing with my jumbo, which is to pull the chains all the way slack, and then I will just again cradle the chains so it's not exactly touching the table, and it's also not like putting weight on the back of the bag. Now the rest of my bags are much easier. I don't fuss about them as much. And for example, the Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis, this is the dust bag that it came in. And the only thing I do special other than the dust bag is that I take off the strap and I roll it up and I keep it in the middle. Again, it's a little bit annoying that, I have to take on and off the strap every time, because the most convenient thing for me would be to just leave the strap on and then I could just grab it in 2 seconds if I want to run out the door with this bag. But one time I did try to just leave the strap on, and I felt like the strap was getting in the way a lot. When I put it down on a table, it wouldn't just, roll up nicely, and it was just in danger of getting stained or touching other things, touching the wall, getting even the white wall was rubbing off on the strap. So after that, I just decided, what, I'm just going to take the strap off every time until I can find another storage solution where maybe I have more space and it can have, enough space for the strap to just lie as it wants to. This is the Chanel Walk. I don't fiddle with all the felt or anything. I don't even know if this came with any felt, but it just goes in the dust bag like this with the chain inside. So that's all. And then this, my LV that I was using a couple weeks ago that I was just too lazy to put it back in the dust bag at the moment. So in this bag, because it is so huge and it needs a little bit of help in the structure, I do have some big air paper here, but it's not like overly stuffed. You can see there's actually still a lot of air in there. So now I am going to put it in its dust bag. And for me, because this table can get some sun, you can see on the side here, this is the afternoon, and the more the sun sets, the more the sun will shine on my bags. I do have to keep my bags in the dust bag because I don't want there to be sun damage, and I still think that there's enough airflow for the bags to breathe like all leather needs to. So I really don't think that the bags being in the dust bags are suffocating it too much. And then finally, my Hermes garden party. So again, in the dust bag that it came in, and then inside a lot of that air paper, because this bag needs some structure. And then I mentioned this in the unboxing video, but the sales associate did recommend that I store this bag with the buttons unbuttoned. Now, if I wanted to use it and I wanted to make the opening a little bit more narrow, I could button both sides. But she did say that was not great for this leather strip inside here, because if it has too much tension on the leather, it could crack like right in there. So that's why when I'm not using this bag, I just leave it open and in the dust bag. Now, I did notice that this side was kind of collapsing a little bit more than this side. So I'm just checking to make sure that, you know, there's enough air paper support in this particular corner, so I don't continue to see this crease here get worse and worse, right? So I just want to press that in a little bit and make sure, you know, this crease again doesn't get worse. So there you have it, just a few tips from me on how I store and care for my luxury bags. Please let me know if you have any questions. I am super happy to answer you in the comments. And if you like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. I can't wait to see you in the next one, and thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. Bye!